To see if I can get this live stream working correctly, and then I'll proceed. I'm streaming live to Facebook right now using an app called Mob Crush, and I'm always hesitant to move forward unless I know for a fact that it's streaming. So just give me a second and I'll jump right into it. Okay, we are live. What's going on, everybody? Sorry for that delay. I always have to double check because, yeah, I've been having a lot of issues with streaming lately. Anyway, what I'm going to do today is just show you my process on cleaning up a sketch. So this is a sketch that I designed yesterday. Designed it while I was in the meeting. You know, I'm always taking my tablet with me and just sketching. So anyway, I just wanted to show you just a little bit of my process, my current process, until I, of course, improve that. Anyway, I'll jump right into it. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. So first, what I typically do is just reduce the opacity. And feel free to ask me any questions if you have any. And hopefully the stream will not drop because I've been having issues with that. So typically what I do is, I'll show you from the beginning. I'll close that out. And so like I'll do a bunch of sketches and then I'll do some more sketches. What's up, man? What's up, Shahid? How are you? And then I'll isolate like this particular image right here. I isolated it. Whoops. This particular image here, I isolated it and made it larger, which you'll see here. And then what I'm doing now is just muting it down, muting down the opacity, so that I can dive into it and clean it up and make it a bit more dynamic. Usually when I sketch, you know, I'm trying to push for more, you know, emotion in my pictures. So I'll do a quick pass and then I'll do a sketch over. And like for some of my work, my sketch overs, let me turn the music down. My sketch overs are actually, I'll probably do sometimes up to 5 or 6 new ones. Sorry about that. So anyway, let me just start the process just so you can see it. I'm gonna mute it down just a little bit more. And typically what I do is notice here, let me make sure I got the right pen. Yeah, notice here that there's a lot of symmetry, like both sides. And so what I'm really shooting for is just to add some more dynamics to the image. So let me get going, and if you get, like I said, you have any questions, just let me know and I'll answer those. And so I'll just do a real quick sketch over. And I'll zoom in here. And again, this will be another rough pass before I actually clean it up some more. I did this sketch while I was at the library, and there was an Indian gentleman that walked by, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sketch that dude. So this is my interpretation of him. Like I said, all I'm doing right now is kind of, I'm gonna break up the design a bit. Right now it's still a little bit the same, but you'll see how I go about doing it. I really want to switch the body around just a tad, make the stance look more natural. One second, I'm gonna share this a couple places. Yeah, so really all I'm trying to do is just break up the monotony and add, just a little more appeal to it. Get going. And all I'm doing right now is just adjusting the shoulder a bit. And even the stance. So actually it's kind of, if you see my, here, I'll use a different color. So actually I'm curving the body kind of this way, just to give it a little bit more depth. And again, I go real sloppy and clean up later, because again, I'm just working more on the shapes more than anything else. So for me, that's the most important thing. And I know it can get hard to read for other people sometimes. And so, and even I'll probably change the direction of his face just a tad, just to make it read a little better, do more 3/4. So I'm actually going to erase what I've already put in. Yep, I erase stuff a lot. Because again, I can always draw it back in. And so I need to erase that as well, just to change these things up. So because I'm switching that over a bit, maybe I'll change his expression as well. And I'm not too worried about messing anything up, because I'm not established on a particular look just yet. And maybe I'll have him looking back toward the camera. So and actually I'm gonna delete these lines in here, and then I'll reestablish that stuff as I go on. And again, I'm just putting in shapes here. So my symmetry line is now here. And yeah, I tend to scribble kind of fast, so I keep the ideas in mind. And all I'm doing is just really just trying to keep the size in mind. Since this hand right here is slightly in the background, as well as this foot. And just balling that hand up. Because again, all I'm focused on right now is just the shape language. And everybody's process is different. So this is, like I said, this is just mine. And so you can see kind of how I switched up the view. And so what I'll do now is I'll really fade that last one out, and I'll reduce this one down just to go over it and kind of tighten it up a bit. Undo that. Make my pen just a little smaller. Open his mouth a little bit. Give him the mustache back. Add some depth back to his face. So you'll see more of this ear based on his turn, so that's why it's a little larger. And the perspective of that ear is a little smaller. And I can go in a variety of ways with this face. But the concept is, again, for me, is creating a new character. So it's not really about a particular likeness. It's more or less about creating something a little different, a little more refined. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. What I'm doing is just streamlining his hair a bit. Getting rid of the swoops. Maybe I'll add some back, who knows. So he had on, I guess, one of these, I forgot what you call them. What's going on, Crystal? How are you? So in here, like, yeah, what I want to do is kind of like bubble there, but I want to make sure that the sizes are different so it doesn't look too uniform. And all I'm doing at this stage is really figuring out for myself, like when I do sketches, I pretty much do them so when it comes time to actually rendering, and what I mean by rendering is, you know, adding the polish and the color and the, I guess, a commercial feel to it. I just want to know where I'm shooting for. These are still notes for me, and this is just me refining my notes. So that way, when it comes time for me to lay in actual like lines or colors, so I may not even do lines, but for colors and shapes, I know exactly what it is that I'm aiming for. So this is the criteria. Sometimes I'll add some wrinkles, and I may even clean this area up a bit, just so it doesn't look too scribbly by the time I finish it. And so I'll add his leg, then just to give it some shape. And again, it's really all about just, for me, focusing on communication, making sure it's not just a regular stance, because in the times past, for myself, a lot of times my drawings will be stiff. So I just want to make sure I add more, you know, dynamics to it. So I'll do hands. I'll just really just kind of slop them in there, and then I'll focus on the actual shapes as I go forward. So again, I'm not sure how exactly I want to do the hands just yet, in terms of, so maybe he'll be holding something, not quite sure. But if he doesn't, I can just do that. And you know what? I need to change this part because he's wearing a bubble sleeveless thing. So this would be a shirt under that. And so even though I like the bubble look, it's not what I was drawing. And as you can see from here, this image is a lot different. Here, I'll just drag it to the side, than the original. In terms of look, so there's certain aspects of the original I like, but in terms of shapes, you can see the stark contrast. And then I can even go in here and bring back some of the original look of this. I can erase his nose. Like I said, at this stage, I don't even mind erasing a lot. Yep. Sorry about that. As always, something happens to stop the process. But anyway, I'm actually pretty much done. And like I said, you can see the difference. I think there's some better shapes on my newly refined one. For right now, the shoes will be black, but I'll probably go in and just add some details to that. And the reason why I'm keeping these pretty rough as well is if I decide to do other stuff with it. Like in terms of if I decide to animate or do anything beyond, then I can actually do it with this. And again, just keeping it pretty rough so I can just draw through a lot of stuff. And I usually figure out how I want to approach it at this point. And that's pretty much my process. Oops. Had the eraser on. And go in here and then do another pass. Like I said, he was an Indian guy, so I'll give him a little bit of melanin. Oops. Let's blend the rest of that. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's pretty much it. That's my process, and I'll do a lot more of these coming up. Hope you enjoy it.